We're going to start, I think, first of all, gents, by saying I don't think any of us is going to look at a didgeridoo in the same way ever again.
Yeah, that's, I guess, Tadhg's own personal didgeridoo that ended up working its way into the film.
And this was filmed in your home.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it was.
tell us what that was like.
You could only imagine what it was like. It was carnage. It was shocking, but great crack.
The fact that we were living on set as well as filming.
Yeah, the fact we were living on the premises as well. We were all just in each other's pockets, and like one of the smallest bedrooms in that house, we had 6 beds in it, bunk beds.
I get the impression it was quite fragrant. Some of the ladies
It was
said.
quite fragrant.
Yeah, it was all blokes.
So you had to like push one of the beds out of the way to actually open the door, and then push it back into position to close the door.
We couldn't open the window to let any air in because there were so many wasps outside, so the smell was trapped in there as well.
Yeah,
it was that summer.
It was
I got rocked to
fantastic
sleep
there.
a few times though. Like I was in the bed closest to the door.
Yeah, you didn't get a lot of sleep during the night because a lot of the recording happened at night.
Yeah, we did like three all-nighters in a row. It was just amazing. I think we kind of got more energy as we went on, actually, when we saw the footage that we were getting back. We just wanted to keep going.
Okay. We might go right back to the start because this was originally, Luke, your idea. It was a short film that became what we saw tonight. Take us back those few years.
Well, I didn't have any confidence to start writing, and it's thanks to this man that actually gave me a lot more confidence to get writing and stuff. So I actually wrote a zombie film just for the crack. Set it in my own house in Dublin, so you nearly got away with it, Tadhg. And it was called Crack of the Dead, and no one else that I knew liked my writing. They all said it was terrible. Seriously. And
Can we have an awe in the audience?
Please, thank you.
He's a professional playwright now, so he's moved on.
I've moved on. I haven't forgot. Adam actually encouraged me in my writing, and he loved the script that I wrote, Crack of the Dead, and we were going to shoot it, and he said, you know what, I actually really like this script. Can I have it just to work on it and change it to a feature? And I'd never wrote a feature before, and I was like, yes, please take it and write a feature. And he just wrote something which you just saw, which I thought was incredible, to just take a tiny little idea and just, it's not mine anymore, it's totally his, if you know what I mean. So it was just amazing that he...
The comedy element of it was born from Crack of the Dead because Luke is incredibly good at comedy writing, especially, and the short was entirely comedy centered, so that stayed there, even though I'm much more serious, I guess, in a lot of respects. I'm very I stick to my themes very rigidly, but kind of the mesh of the two of us together is still very much in that, in spite of the fact that, you know, I turned it into something that was much bigger. It's still kind of very much the child of the two of us. Okay.
You said that it's totally his. You are a total control freak. You like to have everything absolutely perfect. So much so that you actually filmed this twice.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did film this twice. So I mean, when you're starting out, you've got a lot of budget constraints, and when you're paying for it yourself out of your own pocket, you're kind of you can only do so much. But when I was out filming, I got a loan out of the bank. It was very small. We were out filming, and when I saw the performances, especially that I was like, okay, I'm not doing this justice by being the cameraman and the sound recordist and the director, and it made no sense to continue in that vein. So we sort of decided that was the rehearsal, and then I went to the bank of Mammy and Daddy, and then that
who are sitting in the audience.
Who are sitting
Thank
in
you
the
very
audience.
much. I also went to the bank of Mammy and Daddy. Hey, give me a round of applause.
And with their support and the support of a few others, we were able to get a lot more professionals on board, and we were able to do what we were able to do.
Okay, so the two of you started out with that original script together. Where did Tadhg come in?
Straight away, as soon as the chi was written. That's Tadhg.
The instant the chi was written, it's like, I know just the man. I know just the man. I think that I had first met Tadhg by when I was in college, and I was making my final year film, and I had to rewrite my short film the end of year project around Tadhg, because when he came in and auditioned for the role, I was like, okay, he's not what I wanted, but I cannot not have him. So I rewrote the part around him. It was a very serious role, but just through becoming friends with Tadhg and understanding his personality and his humour, he was 100% right for the Chi. Just incredible.
Okay, and you
Incredible comedic
decided
actor.
those eyebrows needed a bigger audience. Great eyebrows, very expressive eyebrows.
Very expensive. As Claire said to me earlier, you can do a lot with eyebrows, Tadhg.
Yeah, apparently, like I never know really what I'm doing in them positions. It's just trying to get out as funny as possible.
Yeah, I don't think
facial
anybody
expressions just happen.
I don't think anybody who saw that would say that you don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely. 100%.
Thank you, Claire.
You're an Offaly man. Tell us about your background in acting.
My background in acting started in Australia. God, I could go on all night. But yeah, it basically started out there. Look, it was something I always wanted to do, basically, and I got the kick up the arse that I needed out there to do something about it. And I contacted Sydney Drama School. They brought me in. I think I did a monologue or an interview. I can't remember what it was, but they accepted me, and I did maybe 2 years training in there. And like I think after a month of training, I was like, this is all I want to do. Like I had the bug, the acting bug as they call it. And then when we decided to come home, I just wanted to get straight back into it. So before I had left home, I got in contact with Rachel Sarah Murphy. She's from Cork, and you probably remember her from Fair City. She was Jo in Fair City. I got in contact with her. She was in the Irish Film Academy at the time. And I had an interview with her, I think, when I just got home. And I did a 6-month course there in the Irish Film Academy then. And yeah, ever since that, I've been pretty busy, which is good.
Tadhg's in something new every week. Like Tadhg's one of the hardest working actors I know. Like he's in a lot.
In every sense of the word, like he's the first one on set with a coffee in his hand, and if there's anything that needs to be done outside of the acting, he's the first one to offer to do it as well. He's a serious, unbelievable workhorse. Incredible.
During the production of this film, you were doing all kinds of things. At one point you said you were doing 400 things at the one time and you never wanted to act again.
You've watched the documentary,
I
haven't you?
watched the documentary. Yes, that's my job.
How are we making a film available on YouTube?
No, like it was like that, wasn't it? It was like
Everyone had to do
I couldn't relax. Like my scenes, like as you've seen, there was a lot of comedy and trying to do them and do all the behind the scenes stuff as well, and trying to be in that character all the time. But look, I got through it. I think it turned out okay.
Did it turn out okay?
We had to be
I think for the shoot we really pushed ourselves to our limits, and we kind of went past those limits. And I've learned an incredible amount from making that film. It was awesome. As far as the cast and crew pushing themselves, we also had a ton of extras as well. Our zombie extras who are somewhere back there who were absolutely brilliant. They were fantastic. They were pushed their limits as well. I didn't know what I was doing. I was standing in the middle of a field. It was freezing cold. I was like, okay, everyone, let's just move over here, please, and get ready. I'm so grateful for everyone that actually came along and helped out. It was really amazing, and it's amazing to have some of those faces here in the crowd today. So thank you. I want to have a round of applause for the zombie extras. It was amazing.
You made the point that your whole approach to what you do changed massively as a result of being involved in the film. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I originally started acting. I didn't think I could write. I just went into acting, and I loved it. I absolutely, really loved it. I still do. But I thought I'd only focus on acting, but I actually, again, thanks to people like Adam in my life who've encouraged my writing, I just started writing, and I did... Follow the Dead was so tough to make that I made 16 plays in a year after it. So I really did. I learned so much from that. I swear to God, it was. Yeah. I think hopefully in a few years' time, what you might see is it's an indie film and it's totally self-funded by Adam, because I don't have a bean. Like, if I did, I'd give it. But well, hopefully what you might see is in a few years' time, people might look back at this and say, oh, do you know what? All those people that worked on the film, like Luke Collins, who was phenomenal as Jay, Chris Wright, Mary Beth Heron, myself, Tadhg, and Adam. If we keep going the way we're going, you might actually look back at this film and go, "Oh, this is actually kind of a hotbed of Irish talent, and this is where they got their start from. You know, that's something I'm very proud of, and I think it's totally possible that will happen. Like.
You've also said it made you change your focus on being only interested in the end product, because I mean it was a buddy film. It was a film about, you know, sticking together in ways, but very much a production that was based on people sticking together and collaborating and working together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was like a family, and you kind of become family when you're living together for 6 years in a room
And doing it twice.
Yeah.
Well, friendships grow in a very strange way in that environment because, like, it was a pressure cooker. So, we had a lot to get done in a short amount of time, because there were a lot of constraints. And when when we are forced to live together, work together, and over a space of 3 weeks, you learn so much about each other, and you have to depend on each other so much and rely on each other so much. And I think like it was like spending a year with someone. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how close we got over that period of time. It was an amazing experience, just like, and that's why we titled the documentary "Are We Making a Film?" Partly because of one of the jokes we had on set, but also it's just like we didn't just make a film. You know, we made it. We did make a family. It was an incredible experience.
Absolutely.
It was unbelievable just making it. The reason why I even decided to make this in the first place is because I saw potential from what Luke had. And I thought, you know what, like, yes, this is funny, and yes, it's about Irish millennials dealing with a problem that we've seen, lots of different generations deal with, from Romero to now. And I just thought, you know what, we have an opportunity here to really dig into how we deal with trauma as millennials. Are we very, very comfortable? Are we very pampered and taken care of? Not to our own fault or anything, but just do we live in an age where we're so comfortable and so looked after by society, by the government, by technology, that we may not have the same capability to accept and confront trauma? And so the zombies for me were trauma incarnate. It's like, okay, well, if you guys think you're so comfortable and so happy, here's this. Deal with that now.
Eternally devouring, ever hungry.
Exactly. I love that Collins line. There were days where Tadhg was taking doors off hinges just so we could move stuff around the house. He allowed us to turn his home into a playground.
Yeah, there is a moment in the documentary where you're standing there with the drill.
Yeah, look, you got to do what you got to do, Claire. You know.
He had to repaint the entire house.
You've got Mammy screaming at you here 24/7.
Yeah, well, speaking of mammies and speaking of home, this is your home audience. What was that like for you to be sitting there and to have everybody that you know and love, or a lot of people that you know and love and who know and love you, sitting there watching you?
Yeah, it was quite emotional, I have to say. There was, as everyone else here, been waiting a long time to see this and to see the end product. And there's one person in this room tonight that I'm actually very happy that's here, and that is my father, Tim Devery, because I don't think he's ever seen me in this light. Or my mother has seen a couple of clips of me here, there, and everywhere, but I think this is the first time for him to see me in that light. So I'm so happy that he's here and be able to witness what happened. Actually, it would be his land that we overtook.
His cattle.
Your cattle.
I do only mind it, you know. I do. But no, it was emotional. But look, you have to try and hold that in, you know.
He was at the edge of his seat the entire time. I was sitting right next to him. He was like, for the whole movie,
I was, yeah.
It's much easier acting than it is watching yourself on screen. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, it is, definitely. Look, I to be honest, I barely slept all week.
That's true.
The biggest fear I had was people that just wouldn't laugh.
He's texting me at 3 a.m.
I just thought it'd be silent, and that was the biggest fear for me. But I'm glad I heard one or two laughs here and there. And yeah, that helped.
Yeah, there were a lot of laughs, and you got a lot of laughs.
I couldn't really hear anything from the front, but apparently there was. Apparently there was people laughing.
And you were saying that over the filming that Tadhg got laughs in lines that you hadn't intended to be funny.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I think when Tadhg was reading the script, he just went, "I'm going to turn this into the funniest stuff I've ever done." And even when the lines were just supposed to be expositional or just discursive, he was like, "No, this is going to be funny now," and he just performed it in whatever way he wanted to. And like it was, I'm sure his character must be 50% funnier on the screen than it is on paper.
I think am I the only person who can imagine a world full of the Chi memes from now on?
Buy
would
your
be
Chi action
amazing.
figures this Christmas.
That would be amazing. One thing that also lent itself really well to the film, and it's the first time I've seen it, was today, was the music, actually, the score. I thought the music was phenomenal, and that's actually an original score.
Stephen McKenna,
there's
who's,
Stephen
I think,
McKenna.
is in the audience here somewhere.
It's amazing to me how music can just elevate stories and performances, and I really got a sense in the film that something big was going to happen, like and I just imagine Stephen on his keyboard and his keyboard going. I was like, yes,
It was mostly
yes.
him
I
going,
was
Adam, what do you
loving
think of this? And he'd do something and I'm like, oh, cool.
And there's another Stephen who was involved in this, who is Stephen Walsh, the cinematographer, who did an amazing job. I
He's
think
not
that is
here,
fair.
unfortunately.
He's not here.
No, 'cause he's quite ill at the moment, unfortunately. So I really wish he was here. That man was an absolute workhorse, and I wish he was in the documentary more. But he's a camera-shy cameraman, so he would never be in front of the camera. We don't see him in most of the documentary, but he was literally my right-hand man on the scene. Anything that needed to get done, I wouldn't need to tell him. He'd just do it, and he'd set it up in a way that I was like, wow, I didn't even ask for something on this scale. But like if you get to see the film in proper HD format, like the shots are actually insane. And I owe it all to him. He was a tank. He was incredible.
And I think as well, like I asked the audience, it actually looks really well. Like, would you agree?
It looks great.
That's down to the cinematography and the looks and the lighting. Stephen did both that job. He did the camera work and the lighting. And I was always impressed by what I saw on the screen. I go, wow, I actually look like that with my long hair. I go, oh, I'm actually not half bad.
With your
Thanks,
man
Stephen.
bun.
Like my man bun.
No, but
It was just a phase, ma'am, okay?
Well, that's just what you're saying about the music, though. Like, it wasn't until Stephen had the music finished that I'd realised what the actual genre of the film was more, because I was kind of going, is this a family drama? Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? I don't know what it is. And it wasn't until it was all put together that I was like, no, it's a dark comedy. It's got dark themes. It's got serious tension and it deals with serious issues. But there's quite a lot of laughs thanks to the cast that we had. And so the music really set the tone for all of that.
Can I talk to you about those big cast scenes? Because there were quite a few scenes, like the one that was in the hall, and there were that amazing zombie scene, which is fantastic when we see the crowds coming, and Chi is the ultimate Chi. But how was that? What was that like working with so many extras and the production that was involved in that and training people to be such fabulous, believable zombies?
To be honest, it was I didn't feel the impact of it until afterwards. I sort of like kind of what you were saying about me being a control freak, which is absolutely true. When I'm on the set and I'm just kind of trying to get it all done, it's like, okay, I'm just in the mode of I need to do these things to get it in place. And it's not until it was the next morning I was like, did we just do that? Did that actually happen? And that's exactly what I mean when I say you've got to just attempt the things that you can see in your head. Just try and do it. And then if you prove to yourself that you can, then it's like, okay, what's next then? So that was a huge scene for that, for sure.
That was
But
our
in the
second
moment,
day. That was our second day on set.
It was
as
our
well.
second day on set. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
We
yeah.
had about 80 people there, like all the extras, and Patricia, our makeup artist, who was
Incredible.
phenomenal.
She's here as well. Amazing makeup artist.
Patricia, the
Mention,
makeup was
yeah.
awesome.
I don't know where she is, but she's so good.
And she had a team of 3 makeup people underneath her, and they just did like a train of people going, okay, you're doing the zombie, you're
Next,
doing the
into the
zombie.
gazebo.
zombie.
Next.
Yeah, next, and then...
The movement is excellent. The movement is really
Yeah.
good.
And for that during the day as well, Luke was teaching them combat, and I just basically said to them, look, guys, pretend that there's a demon inside your body, and it doesn't know what to do with you. And they just kind of stumbled around and good.
Somebody was in the audience, by the way, dressed up as a zombie. Are they still here?
They're still here. Is the zombie man still here?
Or was it just one of the locals?
Wandered
Well,
into the
fair
wrong
play to
theater.
him, but we have to meet up with him later and get a photograph. But
Absolutely, everyone should get a
Yeah.
photo with the zombie.
I think it's fair to say as well, Tadhg, that Offaly looks amazing here. Doesn't it? But
yeah.
as a film location.
It does, yeah. Like, especially where I'm living, it's the sticks. And that film really brightened it up.
And tell us what part of the faithful county you're in.
It'd be.
Give your
weird
exact address.
It's Glabe. It's close to Clonmacnoise. I'll say that. It's down Very,
literally
very
the
country.
Sticks, so there's no address. It's just
The postman knows it, though.
It's the Sticks, but you're still only 5 minutes drive from the pub, so it's not too bad.
But it looks really, really good. And it was all filmed on location in Offaly, is that right?
Yeah, there was a certain percentage that was shot in Dublin, but all of the exterior stuff for sure, and then obviously in Tadhg's house, and then for Ban was all in the stuff in Tadhg's house. The stuff in Mrs. Mooney's house was all here in Burr, and yeah, very small percentage in Dublin. And yeah, for sure, if the next time please God, we're going to be working on Follow the Dead 2 at some point. And
It's absolutely beautiful location.
And, yeah.
Is that an exclusive?
Yes.
Excellent. Follow the Dead 2.
Follow the Dead too.
Follow the Dead 2.
And there you have it, the exclusive. There will be a Follow the Dead 2. And if you have dreams of funding a movie, well, I'm sure the lads would love to hear from you. In the meantime, we will keep you tuned in to when and where you can catch the latest, and indeed not the last, it has to be said, Offaly movie. Follow the Dead, starring Luke Corcoran, and remember the name because it is going to be huge, Offaly's own Tadhg Devery, and directed by Adam William Cahill of Wild Stag Productions. You will hear a lot about it. And that is it from Encore for tonight. I'll be back in this seat again next week with more of what's happening.